Okay, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Wall Street Reporter's Investors Discovery Day for today, July 21st, 2020. We have an exciting company to introduce to you today, which is in the uranium and rare earth metals exploration space. That company is Appia Energy. Stock symbol on the CSE is API, and on the OTC, APAAF. And the CEO is Mr. Tom Drivas. For those of you, who are new to our program, our goal with the Wall Street Reporter live stream events is to bring you companies which we believe have at least 10x upside potential. Those of you following our live streams over the past year have seen a number of companies that have increased by 10 to 20x. We've had Cytodyne that's up 2,000%, Nextech up 1,000%, Imagine AR over 1,200%, and a couple of companies that we introduced last week are also up in the double digits so far. And we believe that Appia Energy has that same type of potential for significant price increases. What we do at the Wall Street Reporter with these events, we're looking for companies that are at key inflection points. So these are companies which are, they're doing exploration, they're launching new products, new services, anything that can have a transformative impact on the company's business and ultimately shareholder value. And these companies also have, a number of catalysts in place. They have news flow coming up. So we introduce you to companies which are at, they're at a key moment in time right before things can really explode. So the concept with our presentations is the CEOs present, you watch the presentation, ask your questions. Tom is going to speak for about 20 minutes. Then you'll have an opportunity to ask him all your questions, and it's really your questions that make these events special. So we'll get to that in about 20 minutes after Tom starts. And with that being said, I want to introduce you to Mr. Tom Drivas. Tom, take it away.
Thank you, Jack. Thanks for the opportunity to present Appia to your subscribers. Now, Appia is a junior Canadian company. It's a clean energy company, and we are exploring for high-grade rare earths and uranium in Canada. Now, throughout the presentation, I will be making some forward-looking statements. So I would advise the listeners to seek independent investment advice. Now, Appia, as I mentioned before, we are exploring for rare earth elements, and specifically we're looking for critical rare earths. Now, just a few words on rare earths. Rare earths are seeds of technology. They are used in very many high-tech applications. Clean energy, transportation, communications, robotics, nanotechnology, medical equipment, antibiotics, and medicine. And they're also big in terms of electric vehicles. They're being used in permanent magnets, and also is used in aerospace and in defense industry. Now, as you know, technology has and AI and robotics and all these applications have exploded, and the way the world is moving to the future, we need more and more of this. So the demand for rare earths and especially critical rare earths are exploding. So now, as we speak, China is the main supplier of rare earths. They produce and they supply anywhere between 60 and 80 or 90% of the rare earths, and also of the magnet, the permanent magnet. About 90% of that comes from China. So we are basically the Western world and the manufacturers and everybody else are depending on rare earths, and the China being the main supplier basically controls the market. Now, what is happening, especially with all these trade wars that between USA and China recently, and most of the equipment manufacturers outside of China are basically nervous about getting the main being supplied from China only, and or primarily from China. So the Western world and the U.S. have decided that the rare earths and critical materials are of national security, and they are looking at, and they have introduced legislation to through the Defense Act to look at the processing and having their own supply basically in the U.S. and the Western world. And they also recently have signed a memorandum of understanding with Canada to cooperate in the development of rare earths in North America. So the timings here, basically, we U.S. and the rest of the world, Western world, they are looking to develop this rare earths and critical rare earths and critical material, because we can't just rely on foreign supplier. To have a viable rare earth project, it's, you know, there are quite a few rare earth projects around the world, but there are only a few of them that can produce economically. So you have to have a grade, the high grade, basically. The mineralogy has to be right. The composition, you have to have the right rare earths, and you have to be near a pilot plant or a processing facility, or you have to have the expertise. And the some of the rare earths are part of they have you have to deal with the environment, because there's some radiation with that in terms of thorium and uranium. The picture that you see here is some of part of the Appia's Wilson zone. It's on surface. Now, what Appia has is for the last 2-3 years had been working on one of our projects called Alces Lake. It's located in northwestern Saskatchewan, and it's a very high grade. The average high grade of total rare earths in terms of weight percent is about 16.5%. And on this slide here, you will see that we've got most of the global rare earth projects, and the average in situ total rare earth grade in terms of weight percent. Now, the red that you see here on the right is Appia's grade so far on our Alces Lake project. You will see that this is the second most high grade in terms of the advanced project rare earth projects in the world. You will notice that for example, the Chinese the Bayan Obol project is basically right here. We're about 6 or 7% grade. Mountain Pass is the project in California that a couple of days ago it was announced that they're going public. That's MP Materials. They'll be going public, and they're looking to do an IPO shortly with a projected or anticipated market cap of $1.5 billion. Mount Weld is the next project here, which is Lynas, the Australian rare earth project. That they are producing rare earths in Australia and they're processing in Malaysia. This company also has about $1 billion US market cap. And as you can see, that we've got Appia here, which at least to this point here, we've got better grades, and our market cap is about $10 million US. So we're basically about Appia has a market cap of about 1% or less of the next producers that are basically have similar or lower grades than us. So that's where we think we're excited and we think the opportunity lies. We talked about the rare earth and mineralogy. It's not enough to have a rare earth project. You have to have the right mineralogy. We're lucky at Alces Lake because 100% of our rare earths are contained within one mineral, which is monazite. And monazite, the technology to extract rare earths from monazite is well known. So, and we're also lucky that we see right on surface up to 85% monazite, which is basically unheard. We've got an average of 27% monazite, but it looks, but we're getting grades up to 85% monazite right on surface. Now, composition is very important when it comes to rare earth projects. You have to have the critical rare earths, or because within the rare earths there are 16 different elements, and some of them have different. The pricing is different. Now, what is actually we call critical because it's in high demand, and neodymium, praseodymium, dysprosium, and terbium is the elements that are needed for the electric vehicles, for the permanent magnets, and our project has about 23 to 25% critical rare earths. That's the neodymium, praseodymium. Now, we're also lucky because there is in Saskatoon, in Saskatchewan, there is a pilot plant that is operated by the Saskatchewan government, the SRC, and they have been processing rare earths for the on a pilot plant scale for quite a few years. They've got 2 or 3 engineers from China that work in Chinese projects. So this facility is available for Appia, and we're quite excited to be able to have a technical facility very close to our project. Now, our project, as I mentioned, we have to have environmentally friendly, or at least being able to manage it. And our project being a high-grade project and being near surface or at surface will have a very small environmental footprint. Now, this is the northern Saskatchewan, the Athabasca Basin. We've got 3 uranium high-grade. We're looking for high-grade uranium on surface, and Alces Lake is to the north of the basin here. It is right next to Uranium City, which is a mining town. There were about 17 mines that produced quite a bit of uranium in the 50s. So we have a mining town with a 22 meters airstrip and power and a road 15 kilometers from Alces Lake. So we're quite excited because the project is in the right location. Now, this is a photo of the 7 different zones that we have uncovered so far on Alces Lake. Now you can see there these zones. The average weight percent total rare earths are between 8 or 9% to 31%. And when I'm talking about the average, I'm not talking about gram samples. We're talking about the average of channel samples that we took on surface, which we took over 1,000 of those, and we're also drilling that we've done. So we averaged the grades, and we're getting this very world-class, exciting, high-grade right on surface. This is some pictures of monazite of mineralization right on surface. You can see where we're getting like over 1.2 meters of 85% monazite and 53% total weight percent rare earths. Same thing here with 57% monazite. Now, when experts or laboratories like SGS, when they look at this type of mineralization, they haven't seen anything like it in the world. It's unique. Experts like Jack Lipton from the technology metals research, they basically telling us this is a very unique, and he's of the opinion that Appia has a very good chance of being able to produce rare earths and supply the North American market as well as the Western world markets. Now, in terms of exploration, Alces Lake is a new project. Since 2017, we've been working on it. The last couple of years, we established a camp. We drill about 59 short drill holes, and we uncover about 7 zones. But the property is 37,000 acres. We only look about 2 or 3 acres so far. That's sort of the small area that we've been able to look at it right now. Now, this is some of the drill core that we did. We did a drill hole last year, and you can actually see 16% weight percent total rare earths over 15.5 meters. And within that there was a section of that was 49% weight percent rare earths over 3.7 meters. Now this is really exceptional, and we're quite happy with the results. Now, as I mentioned, we're only been working on the square here, which we looked at 7 zones. All the 7 zones turned out to be high-grade rare earth deposits, and we've got up to last year we had 33 more surface zones that we need to explore further. Now, this is sort of the model that we're looking at, and as I mentioned, we've got over 35,000 acres, and there's a strike length of about 30 kilometers here, which is favorable horizon for more rare earths. In terms of the company, we're lucky that we were able to explore even in spite of the COVID-19 situation. We started exploring 2 of our uranium properties in May, June, and we kickstarted an exploration program in June and July for the Alces Lake project. We did a further mapping and sampling, and we're also doing some specialized geophysical surveys, and results will be announced shortly. Now, the results from the exploration on the uranium, the 2 uranium properties were announced today, and we discovered right on surface over 50-60 meters of exposed uranium. So, and in the next 2 or 3 weeks, we're planning to continue with drilling. So we'd like to see if you can really jumpstart this project into a initial resource and a PEA. So just to summarize, we're quite excited because we've got a project that could supply rare earths to manufacturers outside of China. The timing is great because the US and Canada have signed an MOU that would like to advance their rare earth project. Alces Lake has world-class critical rare earths and rare earths. Like our average grade, as I mentioned before, is 16% rare earths, and about 3.85% of that is critical rare earths. And all is contained within monazite. The mineralization is near surface. We've got multiple zones and a lot of blue sky over 30 kilometers. And we have access to pilot plans. And we're also quite happy that our project is located in Saskatchewan, that is ranked as the top mining jurisdiction in Canada for the last few years. This is our uranium properties. We did the exploration over Loranger, surface exploration over Loranger and East Site, and the results were announced basically today. So we're quite excited with the results, and we'll continue with the exploration. Now, our target for this project, what we're looking for is we're looking for high-grade uranium near surface, near infrastructure, near roads and existing mines. So we can really, they can be economical or viable at almost any uranium price. Now, in addition to the Alces Lake project, we have a project in Elliot Lake, Ontario, that is a uranium and rare earth project. We started with a historical resource of 200,000 pounds of uranium. During the last few years, we've done some drilling ourselves, and we have a 43-on-1 resource with about 8 million pounds in indicated uranium, about 47 million pounds of rare earths, total rare earths in indicated category, and we've got about 47 more million pounds in inferred category, and 133 million pounds of rare earths in the inferred category, and there's potential for more. Now, this we see it as a call on uranium and rare earth pricing. Basically, we've got Appia has about 73 million shares outstanding, and for every outstanding share, there's approximately 3 pounds of uranium and rare earths resource in Elliot Lake, Ontario. As I mentioned before, we've got a additional historical resource there of about a couple of hundred million pounds, and we can really explore more and increase the resource. Now, in terms of our share structure, we've got our shares trade around 20 cents Canadian. We've got about 73 million shares outstanding. Our market cap is about $14 million Canadian, about 10 million US dollars. The management control about 45% of the shares. They own 45% of the shares. We had about $1.3 million in cash. We've spent some money in exploration. We're at about $1 million right now, and we've got some options and warrants. They're all basically at around, the average price is around 28 cents Canadian. So lots of upside. In terms of management, we've got combined business experience, industry experience of over 250 years. Combined industry experiences. That's our management team, and it's been in place for quite a while. In terms of our VP of exploration, James Sykes is award geologist. He was involved with discoveries of about 400 or 500 million pounds of uranium in the Saskatchewan Basin in the last 10 years. He was part of the group that discovered the Dexion's Arrow deposit. He was with Hathor. Hathor was sold to Rio for about $500 million, and with Denison Mines. Now, in terms of in terms of summary here, again, we're debt free. We have no option payments, no royalty payments. We've got a huge resource at Elliot Lake, and we're working in a very good jurisdictions, Saskatchewan. We've got very experienced management, and we've got world-class, amongst the highest total rare earth grades that have been discovered in the world, basically. And we're lucky that those rare earths are enriched with critical rare earths, neodymium, praseodymium, and dysprosium. Now, this is a table here, and I'm done with the PowerPoint here. So we're definitely open to questions. But as I mentioned, I just want to say a couple more things that the recent development in the industry. As I mentioned, the LP, materials has as early as late as a couple of days ago, they announced that they'd be doing an IPO in New York for with a market cap of $1.5 billion. They are producing rare earths, and they're supplying. They're sending it to China to be processed. I think that now they would like to process in North America. Appia has early indications is we got better grades than that. And as I mentioned before, our market cap is about less than 1% of their market cap. So we see a lot of upside, and our plans and what we'd like to do is like to jumpstart this project to an initial resource and a PEA, and where we can really demonstrate to the market and the investors that we've got a viable and economical project. Now, in terms of the rest of the market, as you know, the electric vehicles have been on fire, and they will be on fire in the next few years. Right now, when it comes to the permanent magnets, they're using about 21% of the critical rare earths, the neodymium and the praseodymium. In the next 5 or 10 years, where the electric vehicles alone will move forward with a lot more production, they're going to need all the current production of the critical rare earths. So there's going to be demand for rare earths. Now, we feel that rare earths and critical rare earths are very strategic, very critical, and whoever controls the supply of the critical materials, otherwise known as technology metals, they more or less will control the industry, the world industry. So I'm all done.
Okay, Pablo, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's open up for questions. And we'll start off with, okay, so we, usually when it's a company is new to our program, there's not a lot of questions. People might be shy, but I did have a question that came in from last night. This is Yasin was asking, will James Sykes be staying with the company?
Yes, James Sykes, our VP of Exploration, he's been with the company for the last 4 or 5 years, and he will be staying with the company. He's quite excited with our uranium project and our rare earth Alces Lake project. He actually was up there for the last couple of months, and he just came back. So, and he's going to be going up there in the next couple of weeks again.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Any questions? Anybody? This is last call for questions. Okay, I don't think we have anybody today. We'll definitely have them next time. Tom, you have anything else you wanted to add?
No, I thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity to present Appia. I think the next few months will be very exciting for Appia because we'll be doing a lot more drilling, a lot more work, and we do expect a lot more news. And I think given that we've been working there for a couple of years, we think we might be able to get to the next stage, which is the initial resource, or at least we'll try to end the PEA in the next month or next few months or next 12 to or so months, 18 months.
Okay, great. Tom, I want to thank you for sharing the Appia story, and thank you everybody in our audience for joining us once again for Wall Street Reporter's Investors Discovery Day live stream. And we hope to see you back in a few weeks when Tom comes back to give us the next update. Tom, thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Appreciate it. Thank you, everybody.